Hi, everyone, and welcome to the seventh day of the 7 days to Sugar Freedom Challenge. I don't know about you guys, but I am completely exhausted. I have been working my tail off trying to give you guys the best experience possible. And I hope that I've motivated somebody out there, hopefully all of you, to see that when you take sugar out of your diet, you increase your energy levels and your, in my case, mental health. And you just get to feel this sense of power, right? So for myself, when I'm like facing a new challenge now, I'm like, I took sugar out of my diet. If I can do that, I can do anything. And it helps me conquer other goals. So today with us, I'm super excited for this. We have Margarita, and she is a certified hypnotherapist. And full disclosure, before I started on my sugar journey, I did do a full month every single day of hypnotherapy. Not something that I usually share with people because I kind of forgot about it, right? Like, um, I just started my sugar journey and I was like, oh, this is working. And then somebody said, yeah, but didn't you do hypnotherapy? I'm like, yeah, I did. So this is a super important piece to the puzzle for me, anyways. It was. Um, so yeah, welcome, Margarita.
Thank you. It's a pleasure
And
to be here.
oh, I'm so thrilled to have you here. Um, so Margarita, can you tell us a little bit about your history with hypnotherapy?
Yes. Well, I was a registered licensed social worker previously, and I worked in the field of social work and also teaching for many years. And I found a friend of mine led me to hypnosis. That's how I found it, actually. And said to me, this is something that just you would just really love this, right? Not only for people that I was like teaching and working with in social work and in my classes, but also for me as I was going through my own personal things in my life that I needed to heal and shift. And so what I found when I started to study it and then also used it in my own life and my own not only healing but just like self growth and in a way to help myself get back on track with my life and my goals and that sort of thing. It really it's really powerful. It's really powerful tool. It helps us, it helped me anyways, and I know it helps a lot of people that I've worked with now, and then just um my colleagues from around the world. I'm part of a world hypnosis group, and we update our skills and we get feedback on progress that we're making and also people that we're working with are making. And it's just so interesting that hypnosis and hypnotherapy is much quicker way or more powerful way than regular therapy, or when you combine the therapies to include hypnotherapy, it really does speed things along in terms of healing, changing, hitting your belief systems, rewiring your patterns and your thoughts and behaviors. So so that's what led me to it. I was really excited to see that some things that people have tried to change in themselves, that worked on changing, and some were having a hard time doing it or finding it took long, or they kept relapsing back to old patterns, right? Including myself. And so hypnosis and hypnotherapy, it does help you to realize that there's something else that's going on there, right? It's something that's going on in our subconscious. So what it taught me is in our subconscious patterns, that's what's running 90 to 95% of everything we do, think, all of our actions and habits. And so it's only 5% of the conscious mind, about 5% that when we make a decision consciously to change, say, for example, removing sugar, we have that conscious mind of 5% battling that unconscious 90 to 95% of
Wow,
the
that's crazy.
unconscious. Yeah. And I never knew
I don't
that
know why
really.
I can't do this. I'm focusing so hard on it.
Yeah. And focusing and trying then will never get there, because what's going to win, the 5% conscious mind or the 95%? Well, there's no contest there, right? So I learned so much through hypnotherapy, and actually just made me feel so much more empowered, because when I started to realize what was going on and how to really change, things that I wanted to change in my life. And it's an ongoing, journey, because we're human beings. We all have, programmed beliefs and thoughts running in our subconscious, and we don't know all the programs that are running. Hence, they're unconscious or subconscious, right? They're below the consciousness. We might be aware of some of them, but it's impossible for us to know all of them, right? And so hypnosis and hypnotherapy does help us get underneath what's really going on with us, because it's under the surface, right? So it does help us look at, okay, why do I want to keep eating sugar? What is really going on? I mean, obviously it tastes good, but it's a lot more than that. That's blocking us from changing. There's more going on. It could be emotions underneath. It could be our thought patterns that need to change. There could be programming and blocks even. There are emotional, spiritual, physical blocks, chemical blocks, reactions, all those things that are under the surface that are in our subconscious. And so that's why it's easy then to see why we feel sometimes it's difficult for us to change sometimes, right? We can have that idea that it's difficult, or that there might be some kind of resistance there.
Yeah, a couple things are coming to mind right now, like when you said, yeah, sugar tastes good. But I mean, really, if you had a plate of fresh watermelon, when you get a watermelon, you're just like, oh my God, this is the best tasting watermelon in the world. And somebody puts a brownie in front of you. So you have those two options, and both are delicious.
Yeah,
But which one actually, like if you're to be honest, like really, really honest, which one in the moment tastes better? I think that I'm not out of line saying that it's the watermelon, right?
that's right.
Watermelon tastes good, but why do we gravitate towards the other one? Even though, like, we really think, no, I'm eating the brownie because it tastes good. I think that there's much deeper reasons why.
It's much deeper, because that taste good feeling is really a dopamine hit from the sugar, but we just don't realize that that's what it is. And it goes even deeper than that for a lot of us. It could be that we're medicating our pain with sugar, that we don't even realize some of us have this pain. For example, even from the pandemic, we have pain. It's a global pain that we all went through. It's pain and grief and fear and all those emotions. They're kind of heavy. And so we've never been taught how to sit with those kind of emotions or how to process those kind of emotions, right? In fact,
Actually, some of us are even punished for having those emotions.
that's a good point. That's a good point. Growing up, sometimes it was uncomfortable for our parents to see us feeling sad or upset, or they didn't even know how to do it, how to not do it, how to process it, how to handle those kind of emotions, right? Like we've never been really, a lot of us have never been taught how to process, how to feel those kind of emotions, and knowing that those emotions are actually they're just messengers. They're just messengers. And if we just feel into them and we figure out what they're trying to tell us, they really will dissipate. But because generation after generation is not taught this, we're taught not to feel those feelings because they're bad feelings, right? The word bad feelings. And of course, we don't want to unpack there and stay in those negative feelings. That's not what they're meant for. But if we feel them, they actually have a chance to dissipate. It's the resistance of feeling them. It's refusing to feel them and trying to push them down. Now, when we're trying to push them down, we might do that consciously. Oh, I'm too busy. I can't feel this, or I can't see. I'm going to get punished if I show this emotion, whether we're younger or older, right? Or I have to work, I have to push this down, I have kids, I have to parent. So we're pushing it all down, and then it becomes automatic that we're pushing our feelings down. And where are we pushing it down to? Our stomach, right? Our stomach. And that's the center of our nervous energy. So when we have a lot going on in our stomach, then, and in our subconscious, we're pushing it down, we don't even realize we're doing this, those feelings want to come up. They don't want to stay down there. So when they come up, it can actually feel like hunger, right?
Oh, okay.
You know, and when we feel ungrounded because we're all upset, those feelings are in our body, we feel ungrounded, food grounds us. Now, what we want to do is reach for something healthy, right? But a lot of us are reaching for the easy stuff, convenience, drive-throughs, packaged foods, and now sugar is in everything, right? It's in so many things. It's disguised. A lot of us don't even know the names of the sugars now because they're chemical names, or there's other forms of sugar. So we might see, oh, there's no sugar, the word sugar on something, but really it's disguised as the chemical form or another name for it. So it really is there. And so we're medicating those feelings in our stomach with that sugar dopamine hit. And we might not feel like we're getting that same dopamine hit from the watermelon, for example, although we really can. You know, that's something that's been programmed into us to think otherwise. And there's a lot of advertising and lifestyle choices that are encouraging people to choose the other items, right?
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes they're more convenient or they're cheaper to choose those items that have a lot of sugar in it. And they put a lot of sugar in. They want people to be addicted to those substances. So they're really setting people up for that.
Well,
You know,
there's a lot to be gained by the food industry if I'm addicted to their product, right? Like
yeah.
that's ideal for them.
Oh, totally ideal for them. And it's people don't realize that about the food industry and the government even, and they think, oh, they're keeping me safe. They're labeling. There's laws. There's no laws protecting us from sugar and from being warned about the impacts of sugar. They really aren't doing enough. In fact, they're doing the opposite.
I
You know,
totally
of
agree.
that. You know, so
I agree. I think that when they put the label on a food that says uh, sugar, right? And then it says 11%, it makes you think that it's okay to have that sugar because it says it's 11% of my daily requirements. And
right.
like it also says on there, you know, your vitamin C, your vitamin D, your protein, whatever, right? So they're lumping it all in the same category to
Well,
make
they're
us think
tricky.
that we need it.
Yeah, they're tricky. They're very tricky. And they will also say we need sugar as part of our diet, but we don't need that kind of sugar. Not that processed sugar. No, we don't. So that's really misleading as well. Our bodies do burn sugar and it should come from natural sources, you know, and in those natural sources is fiber, which helps us process the sugar. So if we're not having it with the fiber, that's concerning, right? And so that's, I mean, you know, those are the things that we have to be more conscious and aware of as a society. But there's also the underlying things that we need to heal in terms of, you know, feeling our emotions, looking at our habits and why we choose the things that are not healthy for our bodies or have no nutritional value at all. Why are we putting those substances in our bodies? Those are usually based on subconscious programs, the way we've been raised in terms of what we eat in a family. It goes generational a lot of times, or societal. And also just medicating our anxiety, our, our fears, our grief, our traumas. Just getting that, I just want to feel good. And we don't even logically know that that's what we're doing. I just want to feel good in that moment. So I'm going to have a dopamine hit of sugar. Oh, some people might think, oh, yes, I need some energy. So I'm going to have a chocolate bar. I've even been guilty of that in the past, right? When my energy is low, or I think my blood sugar is low. So I think, okay, I'm going to have a chocolate bar and that's going to boost me up. It only does that in the moment though, and then you're in for a crash. Not
Even
to
more.
mention, right? And then not to mention all the inflammation that it goes to. It actually goes to your face, the inflammation, as well as all of your body, all of your organs. And so if you cut out sugar for a month, even, you can see a difference in your face, not to
Right.
mention the rest of your body. So, that is really concerning.
So one thing also that is spinning around my head that I need to mention right now is that if you have a goal and you know exactly what you want, you're really clear. After that, you need three things to be successful, right? You need the energy to achieve the goal.
Mm-hmm.
You need the method, right? You can't
Yeah,
run east looking for a sunset. And you also need the belief that you can
right.
do it, right?
Absolutely.
So we need these three things to achieve a goal. So right now, guys, if you're like, I know not to eat sugar, I have the energy, which is commendable because if you're eating sugar, you probably are a little bit energy deprived. I know I was,
Probably up
but
and down.
probably yeah, I need more sugar to get energy. Yeah. um, so then, if you're still not succeeding, it very well may be that you have that belief system in place that needs to shift. And Margarita is going to do her magic. And it's not magic; it's actually science, guys. Hypnotherapy is a science, right?
It is a science, and I think that's what people don't realize. They seem to think it's, woo woo, or it's like a new age kind of thing. Hypnosis has been around, it's as old as time. There just wasn't before the studies and all of that. Now that's changing though, and how they do that. In my last advanced scientific hypnosis training, they had they had machines where we just hooked it up to our brains here with little devices, and you could see the brain waves on the like on the screen. So it was just fascinating to see that when you go into different states, how your brain waves do change. And so when we are in a conscious state, okay, that's one state that it shows on the screen. You can change that state. And when we do change that state into a more relaxed state and we let that conscious mind just go down, right? It's not disappearing, it's just simmering down. It's that voice that wants to control everything. Just put it right down, and then you can allow subconscious reprogramming. You can allow changes to those belief systems that would work in your highest good, because sometimes our subconscious holds on to things. It thinks it's helping you, because if you're getting, if you have a belief that sugar is giving you something like energy or making you feel better, that subconscious is gonna help you get more sugar because it thinks it's helping you, right? And it's working 90% to 95% of that program. Now if you can change that belief and rewire that pathway, okay, to say, now you're only going to choose healthy sugars, such as watermelon, for example, right? Or that you're going to drink more water, that you're going to change your diet and habits, maybe grocery shop, with a list and a plan, whatever it might be. You can actually reprogram your brain on that path to have that belief, right? And to program those habits in. So you can program that belief that that sugar is actually detrimental to you. You can program that belief. You can actually go as far as matching sugar with something that you actually hate. Okay. So if I did that over and over again with a person, they would never eat, for example, a chocolate bar ever again. Right. Because now, like, for example, one client matched it with vomit. because they said that was the absolute thing they could not stomach is vomit. Okay, cleaning vomit, seeing vomit, even thinking about vomit, right? So if you matched a chocolate bar with vomit for that person, no longer would they ever want to eat chocolate again. Now, a lot of people don't want to go that extreme, right? And some might want to. Now, you can still reprogram it without using that example of pairing by just saying to your subconscious that you no longer eat unhealthy things for your body, that you only eat, or you only eat during the week, for example, and you have one cheat day. You can actually reprogram your brain to want to do these things. And it's just amazing. People are like, how could that even be? But it's because now you're reprogramming that 95% of your subconscious mind to accept those suggestions, right? That you actually know that sugar is not good for your body. And we wouldn't say it as it's not good. We would say it's detrimental or unhealthy, because we don't want to use the word not or never. We want to flip it. Okay. And you might want to say, I'm going to choose something healthy instead. And so trying to keep it like that, not using, removing the word not, never, those words aren't as recognized by the subconscious. So it's also knowing how the subconscious mind works, right? What we're telling ourselves. Because when we tell ourselves we need sugar for energy, otherwise we're crashing or we're getting the sugar flu from withdrawals, right? We're telling ourselves a message there in our subconscious, right? That we need that. But we can also tell ourselves the opposite of that. And we can actually program that in there to replace it. So if you take something out, for example, sugar, you replace it. And that's what you want to do. You want to replace things. So if you're removing any kind of addiction, you want to replace it with something else. That's what you can do in the subconscious. You can do that consciously, but it's a lot easier to do it in the subconscious, right?
Right. Now, some people say that hypnosis isn't, or that they can't get into a state of hypnosis. What would you say to that person?
I would say that every person can get into a state of hypnosis. Every person does that every single day. Hypnosis, all that is a deep, focused state of relaxation. So for example, if you were driving from point A to point B and you don't remember how you got there, that's hypnosis. If you're crying at a movie, you're really getting into it, or laughing, that's a state of hypnosis because you're in a relaxed, calm brainwave state. The state when you go to bed at night, the state when you're just in between falling asleep and awake, that's hypnosis. So every single person does it every single day. In fact, our first hypnotists are our parents when they used to say things to us as children, right? And we believe them. So if they said we were a good child that day, we would believe them. We were good. And we do have an open hypnotic state from ages 0 to 7. We're in an open hypnotic state. So a lot of these patterns are formed at that age when we're children. So if we were rewarded a lot with food or sugar, and then this is not to blame parents or anything like that. It's just because people don't realize this, but that's where a lot of our habits are formed. And if we're taught not to feel our feelings or to shove them down at that age, 0 to 7, those become very strong patterns because we're in an open hypnotic state. It's interesting.
Oh my gosh, I've lost track of time. This has been so fascinating. This has been incredible. So we only have 2 minutes left. Is there anything you wanted to share with us before we go?
Well, I just wanted to share that often when we have an addiction, there's a secondary gain to it. There's a secondary gain, and that's often is in the subconscious. So figuring out for you what your secondary gain is from that. And then you can use EMDR. I do that as well. And EMDR, I pair it with, it's called Blast. I pair it with a light hypnosis. or you can use emotion replacement therapy or all kinds of different forms of hypnotherapy. There's not just one kind of hypnotherapy, by the way. There's different levels. There's advanced, there's very basic. It depends what your needs are and what might work for you. And it's all natural. It's safe, and it's a powerful addition to your healing journey. I use it. I continue to use it, and I always will, I'm sure.
Beautiful. Now, if people wanted to have a personalized hypnotherapy session with you, how would they reach out to you?
Well, they can go to my Facebook page. I have Margarita Camera Counseling and Hypnotherapy and Energy Healing business page on there. You can message me. You can like my page, because sometimes I put up specials or information. You can like my page. You can message me on there. You can also message me on my regular page as well. And I'll also give my phone number. It's 807-627-7957. And you can either send me a message, a text, or phone. I do have voicemail, so if I'm in with a client, obviously, you can leave me your name and number and I can get back to you. If you just want more information, that's fine too, because a lot of people have never heard about this, right? It's kind of a new thing for some people. So if you're interested in more information, or you're interested in trying a session, or you want to work on, or you know what you want to work on, you can get a hold of me in any of those ways. I also have an email at mjmacdon@lakeheadu.ca.
Wonderful. Okay, thanks you so much for taking the time out of your very busy day to be here with me today. And I hope that everyone in the challenge got as much out of this session as I did. It was fantastic. And then just also to let everybody know that today is the final day of the challenge. These videos will remain on the Facebook group only for the next 24 hours, and then they are gone. So if you, I guess, have to be watching this to know that you have to watch this. Okay, thanks, Margarita.
Thank you.
Bye.
Everyone.